Hello friends, myself Vikas Shakya. I welcome you all back on my channel VVSORG. So as you know that this is the series of Python where every day I'm discussing something about the Python, some syntax, some functions, some features of the Python. So till now we have reached till the list. So today before moving ahead with the new topics like tuples or set or anything else like dictionaries, let's have some exercise with the list. So in last video, I told you something about a pop function which is supported by the list. So with that pop function, your list would basically act like a stack, right? So you might have worked on the data structures where you might have worked on this famous problem where you need to calculate a postfix expression, right? And you must have used this stack to calculate a postfix expression. So in this video, I'm not going to tell you how to uh, convert basically an infix to postfix, but rather I would simply take one postfix expression and I will just show you that how you can use the stack, I mean your list, to calculate the postfix expression. So without any further add-ons, let's move to our program. So this is my IDE where I have written this program. So you just need to uh, open this Python cell, and from here you can go this new cell, new file, and here you can write your code. And whatever code you have written, you can run through this run module. So I already have opened one and I have the code written for you. To save the time, I have already written it. Okay, so in this video, we are just going to see like how a postfix expression can be calculated using the list, right? Suppose I have an expression 4 plus 5. It's a simple example. If you convert it to a postfix expression, what would be the expression? It would be 4 5 plus, right? Simple. It would be 4 5 plus. So I have taken this expression here 4 5 plus, and I have used this str, right? So this is one of the new things which you are able to see it here. Str converts basically anything to the string, right? If it was integer, then also it will be converted to a string, right? So this x will contain this string 4 5 plus, right? And then I have initialized a empty list 1, right? And after that I have performed all the uh, logic to put it into the list and then calculate uh, the expression, the postfix expression, using the stack logic. Okay, so before we move further, let's have a recap of how the postfix expression is evaluated, right? So we have this expression 4 5 plus, right? So what we do, we iterate from the beginning, right? And if we get any digit, any number, then what we do, we put it on a stack, right? So suppose we are iterating through the 4 5 plus. So first I will get 4, and then I will iterate to the next element. I get 5, right? So it will become 5, and then I get an operator plus. So as soon as I get an operator, what I do, I just pop the two elements from the stack, right? So when we reach to the plus or minus or anything, which is an operator rather than a digit, rather than a number, what we will do, we will simply pop the top two elements. So what we will do, suppose we pick top two elements, one element would be 5, the other element which we will pop would be 4, right? And then I have this plus operation, so I will apply this operation to op1 and op2. So what would be my result? Result is equal to op1 plus op2, right? So this will become 9, and then I will push it to the stack, right? Stack 1, I put it again. So 9 will be the element. Now there are no more elements, so our iteration should end here, and whatever is there on the top of the stack, that will be my result, right? So this is basically, you must have understood this. You must have done this in your college days when you have written the program to calculate a postfix expression. Okay, so this is the way it is calculated. You can take more complex ones like 4 plus 5 into 2. So what will be the expression would be like 2 and then asterisk, right? 4, 5 plus and then 2 into asterisk. So a stack will behave like this. On the stack, you will put like this 4 and 5, and then you find this plus. So you perform the operation, it's 9. And now since we have more elements, now we have 2. So I will put 2 again in the stack, and then I will reach to the other operator. And as soon as we reach to the operator, we just pop the 2 elements. op1 is equal to 9, op2 is equal to 2, and then we perform the operation which has been given there by through the operator. So it's asterisk, I mean it need to perform the multiplication, so you will perform result is equal to op1 into op2, which will give it to 18. So this should be the result. 4 plus 5 is equal to 9 into 2, 18. So this is the way you calculate your postfix expressions. So you can have your own expressions, you can create your own, you can convert it to the postfix expression, and then you can use your program to calculate any of the expressions. Okay, so let's start. I'm just going to remove all this. Just taking a simple example, 4, 5 plus, and now just write it, the logic for the code. Okay, so here I have taken this string 4, 5 plus, and then what I have done is like I initialized a list, an empty list. You can initialize an empty list like this, and then store the value in the list one. Whatever I have in this string, whatever digits and whatever characters are there, I am going to put all those things in the list. So the list will contain like 4, 5 plus. First element would be 4, the second would be 5, and the third element would be plus sign. Plus sign would be the third element. So this list will contain all these characters 4, 5 and plus. Okay, so I have just printed the list as well. So when I will run the program, this list will be printed first. So I can write it like print the list contains okay list one. So I will first print it, and then I have taken another list. This is the simple list where you have stored this postfix expression, but I have used another list, list 2, to use it as an stack, right? So here I have taken result, op1 and op2. These three variables I have taken, and I have initialized all of them to 0. If you have initialized any of the variable to 0, then that variable becomes that type. Okay, that variable becomes of that type. Like if you have assigned 0, then this variable became int, this variable became int, and this also became int. Okay, so here what I have done, I have initialized, I have taken another variable k is equal to 0. You can write better optimized code. I have just written it here for an example, just for the sake of an example. You can write better code, you can write it in more optimized way, but I'm just trying to show you how to use the lists to calculate a postfix expression. So uh, don't worry about all these mistakes, like not mistake, basically not that kind of optimized code. Okay, so here what I'm doing, here I'm running the while loop. So now you can understand the for loop syntax as well and the while loop syntax as well. Here I would like to tell you, like, for loop you will run in this manner: for I in x. So whatever is in x, that will be iterated one by one, and that value will be stored in I one by one, and then that value will be extended to the list one by one. Okay, so this is the way you run a for loop, and this is the way you run a while loop. So here in while loop, what I'm doing, I'm just trying to run the loop. I'm just running the loop basically till the all the elements of the list have not been iterated. So with the help of len function, I am trying to find out the length of the string until k becomes equal to the length of the list. I am iterating it, right? So I'm just increasing the value of k here, and in between I'm just performing all the other operations. So what I'm doing, like, if my value is not, if the value during iteration is not an operator like plus, minus, asterisk, I mean multiplication or the division, then in that case what I'm doing, I'm putting the value to the stack, second stack, just like here. It's happening like this: list 2 is equal to 4 and 5. This is all happening inside this if condition. So when I'm iterating, I'm not finding any symbol. So what is happening, like 4 has been placed in this list 2, taken from list 1 and then placed into list 2. And the same way, when we get to the next element 5, again the 5 is added to the list 2. But when we reach this, then this condition becomes false and this condition becomes true. So it will go to the else condition, and in else condition what we are doing, we are performing like op1, op2, we are popping the elements from this list 2, just like I showed you earlier. So after you pop the elements, you are just performing the operation that has been indicated. Like here, if it is plus, then it is adding these two elements and then assigning the result to the result value. And to typecast them to integer, I'm using int here. If you have to typecast any value to an integer, you just use int. Okay, so I have told you this in the second video itself. So after all this result has been stored, what we are doing, we are again pushing the result back to the list 2. That's what we were doing, right? So since we have no more elements, so this iteration will end, it will come to an end, and then you can simply pop the last element from the list 2 and that will be the result. So if we are running this if we run this program, then what will be the result? 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. So if I do a run module, then it will ask me to save it first. I have just saved it, and then you can see here, this is the result. Uh, this will put you on the Python cell. You are running this program in your editor, but when you will run it, then it will bring you to the cell, the command cell. So this is representing the elements that I placed in list 1. You might have remembered this line where I was printing all the elements stored in the list. So it shows me the list contains 4, 5 plus, and then due to the logic which I have written, it is giving me the correct results. 4 and 5 have been added here, and it is giving me the result 9, right? So let's do some more stuff with this one. 4, 5, suppose I don't give any value at all. So what will happen? It's an empty string. So let's see what happens now. It gives me an exception, index error, right? So my program is not like free of errors, right? So we have to do some exception handling as well here. So what I will do here, I will just write try, and then whatever I have to write, I just need to put it like this, right? I just press the tab so that it comes all it comes under the try block. And then what I need to do, I need to write another block, except, and what kind of exception I'm expecting to catch? It's index error, right? So I have shown you the try and catch exceptions, try and catch block, how to write it for exceptions. So here what I will do, print, please check the expression provided. It seems not to be in correct format. right? So this is the way I will write it. And now if I run this program, right? So this gives me the exception. This gives me a message, a meaningful message, right? So now our program is perfectly fine. It will handle it. And if someone provides the wrong value here, it will just give me the wrong results. I mean, it will give me the exception, and that exception we can catch here. So let's do one more thing, 4, 5 plus and 2 asterisk, right? So if I write like this to 2, then it becomes like 2 and asterisk. This is the postfix expression of 4, 5, 2 asterisk. 4, 5 plus and 2 and then asterisk. So let's see what result we can get here. Right, so it will come 18, right? So you can check it through your code, and if there is any issues, you can just correct it, or you can write me, right? So it will give you 18. If your logic is wrong, then it will give the wrong results, but if your logic is right, then it will give the right results. So in my case, I have done some mistake, right? So what you can do, and even myself will do, like you can correct it, because in my case, if I run this program, it is giving me the result 8, which is not correct. So there is something wrong. Okay, so you just need to check it, what kind of mistake I have done here, right? So you can just write this program, and in next program I will show you the mistake I did, right? And one more thing before I leave for today, uh, here you can see that while extending the list, I have used str here. I cannot just put an integer here. If you will try to put an integer in here, then you will get an exception. It doesn't allow, the list doesn't allow you to put any integer into the list, because int are not considered as the iterable objects for the list, right? So it simply takes a string, right? So if you have to do this, you need to write str. Okay, so let's meet in the next video, and I will till then you can try to correct this program, and I will also try to find out the error where it is, and we will discuss something new in the next video after that. Okay, so please like, subscribe my videos, and please press the notification button if you like more videos to be notified. And till then, bye bye, have a nice day.